Welcome back to the Worn Outdoors Network. Here we are set up and ready to go. Sitting here in the office, I was just thinking, my mind's kind of going, gears turning a little bit, and I'm thinking about tactics, ways we fish, ways we approach situations. That's an interesting topic, so I figured, I'll do a video on it, cover it for y'all, give y'all kind of my foresight on it. To base things also to give you a better understanding, if you haven't realized or you don't know yet, I'm a Florida boy. So therefore, when it comes to fishing, bass fishing in particularly, I'm super heavy with the soft plastics. Don't know what I mean about soft plastics? Here we go. We got you set up right here. Soft plastics, meaning your rubber worms or your rubber little swim baits or little flipping baits here. Got one of my mud bugs that we made here in the shop. Well, so that being said, you'd think Florida boys, soft plastic heavy, out in the west, huge finesse fishing, big swim baits, stuff like that, like he'd be kind of familiar, right? Yeah, no. So when I first got out here, started fishing, and it was kind of like I did my research, trying to figure out lakes and things, like looking at topographic maps, looking at Google Maps, looking at water levels dropping, rising, all of that good stuff. And I was like, okay, doing all right, not too bad. Now, pretty much, I can go to any spot and catch fish and have no problem not catching, have no problem catching at least one fish. So I would say it was brutal. It gave me the exam first in a sense, and then the lesson later, and then I figured out, new ways and to approach things and stuff like that. So back home, back in Florida, you can get away with using heavy braided line or just heavy fluorocarbon, heavy monofilament, heavy whatever you want to throw. You can get away with it because in a lot of fisheries the water's darker, stained darker, so the fish can't see that well in water. They bite more so off of sound and feel, vibration, stuff like that. So here, which don't get me wrong, back home there's some crystal clear waters, but more so than not, where I fished in like the rivers and stuff, it was darker water, so I could kind of get away with things of that nature. And I'm still developing as a bass fisherman per se. I know a lot more now than I did 2 years ago, but back then I wasn't the best. I was still kind of getting my feet wet in a sense. So a lot of guys and people that I know may think I'm crazy and stuff, because still I prefer my Zebcos over Baitcasters. Preferably this one right here, which is Zebco Bullet. I love this thing. It's like $100 a reel. It's not super expensive, but for your average everyday Joe, it's a lot of money just for a fishing reel. So obviously I take care of it, take it apart, clean it, all that stuff, make sure it's nice and lubed up and ready to go so I can make it last. But it works just as good as a Baitcaster, casts just as far, if not farther than some, retrieves just as fast, if not faster than some. So obviously you see why I prefer it, and it's simple. I ain't gotta worry about bird nests and none of that, which that's not why I don't like Baitcasters per se, because I don't necessarily bird nest all the time. I can cast it and work it just fine. I just don't really care for it for some reason. Just don't like it. Anyways, moving on. So once you get kind of like into a new area and stuff, and you're trying to learn the waters and how the fish bite and all that, you start picking up things from locals and people that you meet and stuff like that. And that was one of the things, like what I was telling you guys earlier about the line. Like, now I'm super comfortable finesse fishing with 6 pounds. Hey, right here I got my Abu Garcia here, medium action rod. I believe it's 7 foot, and it's a really good spinning reel, really pretty decent speed, gear ratio, and I got it set up with 8 pound braid with a liter of fluorocarbon, and I think the liter is like 6 pound. Like, I went from throwing heavy, like worried about flipping and things of that nature, trying to get those fish out of that thick stuff in Florida, to coming out here and finessing with 8 and 6 pounds. Like, it's a totally different vibe, totally different atmosphere. But once you get that tool in your bag, I'm telling you, it's something that you can, something that makes you feel elite, and not only feel elite, you are elite essentially, because you can go back home and try those new things and still catch fish. You know what I mean? Like, you have a bag of tricks that says, "Hey, I can do this, 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 this." If I do want to go to fish a tournament or something someday, which could be in the works, who knows? If I do want to do that, I can do it. Or even if I don't know everything about it, I'm in an environment where I can, hey buddy, or whatever. I have friends that I can talk to and ask for advice and things of that nature. That's kind of the whole reason we're building this big thing right here at the Worn Outdoors Network. That's kind of its purpose, what it was designed to serve as, a big networking community of individuals who can just come together and become better shooters, better anglers, better hunters, all of that. And not only are we trying to become better, we're trying to motivate the following generation behind us, and get them involved, and let them see what it's like, and see if they like it, and this is something they want to do and something they want to pursue. Not just like as a hobby, but as a passion, as a way of life, because that's the way I view it. But back to the fishing. So not only did I pick up on like your finesse more better, like finesse style fishing, and lighter line, smaller tackle, like a 5-inch worm versus a 6 or 10.5 inch like Mondo worm. Like, not only did I pick up those little things, but I've also learned better how to pattern fish behavior. Now, I knew a little bit about that because in Florida, our bass spawn multiple times a year, our bluegill spawn multiple times a year, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I could pick up on things like that. But now, more so than ever, I can pinpoint it, and I could go to a body of water and fish it, and for a little while, and after I figure out, what pattern these fish, what are they doing, where are they at, et cetera, I can tell you what stage they're in, post-spawn, pre-spawn, whatever. You know what I mean? So it takes time to develop all of those skills. Obviously, I'm a little bit behind in some aspects because I decided to start certain things later. Like, I started out bluegill fishing, like I stated in a previous video, with my granny. Graduated to like catfish, and slowly into warmouth. Those are my favorite fish. I love to catch those suckers still to this day. I love bass fishing, but catching warmouth is. Anyways, so yeah, slowly graduated and upgraded to bass fishing, and then once I got there, it was just like, I can't beat it. This is top tier. You know what I mean? Like, okay, now it's elite because not just anyone can catch bass. You actually have to put in a little work and a little effort. You have to have some type of knowledge. You know what I mean? It takes something to catch bass. It's a challenge. It's not always easy. You might go out and wreck them one day, but go back the next day and you're getting skunked, and you got to figure out a way to get a bite. That intrigues me. That challenges me, and that's what I love. I love the challenge, whether that be hunting, fishing, or shooting. So, in the fishing aspect, once I've acquired this tool of being able to finesse fish, it was just like, okay, it's another big notch on my belt. What am I going to do with this? Now, thinking about it and going back home and with that tool in my bag here soon, it's going to be amazing, because yes, you're great at another thing, but you were kind of ignorant to that at the same time. So going back to those old places where you fished and all of that, with new methods and new ideas, and just looking at it with a whole new perspective, changes everything. And once you do that, it's like I said earlier, you feel elite. But to expound more on it, basically, you should always want to grow and be better. You should always try to find new ways to challenge yourself. You know, if you're going to your lake that you normally go to and you always catch them doing this and you always catch them doing that, well, challenge yourself. Throw something that you haven't thrown before, or that you want to learn. There's plenty of videos of great guys like uh, Roland Martin, Scott Martin, Brian Latimer, Mark Daniels Jr., Lunkers TV, Lake Fort guy. I watch all of those great anglers, and they give you plenty of videos with how to tie this, how to fish that. There's plenty of it out there, so there's not really an excuse if I don't really know how to do it, because it's at your fingertips with our smartphone. So why not put them to work for you? And why not do that and add that tool to your bag, make yourself a better angler. Challenge yourself. That being said, we're going to go ahead and close this segment out. I'd like to thank you again for joining the old Warren Outdoors Network. It's been much appreciated having y'all watch this video. It's amazing what you can do when you add another tool to your belt. Closing it out there, be sure to go ahead and like this video, give us a subscribe. Give us a subscribe. There we go. That's better. Leave a comment if you have any questions or ideas or for new videos that you want to see in the future and all that good stuff. And like always, we appreciate you watching, and peace out.